About a year ago, I made a video on OneShot. It was my first actual video of 2022, and it was about a game I really enjoyed. But ever since then, I've always felt like I could do better, especially considering it was a game I really enjoyed. Luckily for me, I recently played through the OneShot World Machine Edition, and I fucking loved it. So let's talk about OneShot again. OneShot is a game made by Casey Gu, also known as Night Margin, and Eliza Velasquez. It was made for the RPG Maker Web's 2014 Indie Game Maker Contest. It was also made in about a month. They didn't win. A few years later, on December 8th, 2016, the full game was released, and a few months later, a new ending called Solstice was added. I didn't really know much about OneShot until 2021. I mean, the game had always kind of been on my radar, but never really looked into it that much. That was until around Christmas when I was gifted the game. I then proceeded to procrastinate playing it because... fuck you. It was until, like, a few days later when I had a random burst of motivation to play it. So I played it to completion, and I fucking loved it. OneShot's story is pretty simple. You take control of Nico and have to guide him to the tower to return the literal fucking sun. Along the way, we see such things such as a bunch of robots, poisonous gas, fucking rams, a literal plant god, a shit ton of cubes, and pancakes. We also do meet a bunch of characters who I'll talk about in a bit, but throughout the game we walk around and solve puzzles. After a while we make it to the tower, and then this fucking asshole tricks Nico into thinking we abandoned them. So they walk through a bunch of doors while some guy writes to us, and then we get the sun back. The voice then tells us that we're either gonna have to break the fucking sun, or let Nico die. So, what is the choice I make? Do I drop the sun or... Fuck this world, I like this little thing more. After we break the sun, Nico walks away and credits roll. Goodbye. The other ending shows Nico putting the sun back and the people being happy about this. But it doesn't show what happens to Nico, so R.I.P. bitch. Goodbye. OneShot has very simple gameplay. You walk around, talk to people, combine items, and do puzzles. But besides that, there's also unique kind of puzzles. Some that require me to use the fucking computer. For example, you have to look through documents, you have to look at the wallpaper that gets changed, and closing the game.
High-octane gameplay.
OneShot takes place in 4 locations: the Barrens, the Glen, the Refuge, and the Tower. The Barrens is the first area you go to. It kind of looks like an asteroid, because the ground is mainly rocks, and there's poison gas. This area is mainly inhabited by robots who were just kind of left there. The whole area is really fucking dark, because, you know, where's the sun at? The Glen is a swamp-like area inhabited by bird people. Bird up! But they also have lights, so they're cool in my eyes. The Glen is mostly a cave, by the way. It's alright. The Refuge is my favorite area in the game. It's a big city with a bunch of cool characters. This area is mainly walking, but it's got one of my favorite tracks, so I don't really care. Also, it looks cool. And finally, the Tower. It's a bunch of fucking doors. Did you ever hear of Roblox doors? I'm gonna fucking die. OneShot has a lot of fun characters. You got Nico, obviously. Oh hey, fun fact, did you know this is one of the first piece of art Night Margin drew of Nico? That's pretty lit in my eyes. You also got Profitbot, he tells you about God. You got Silver, she's the head engineer and destroys Nico at chess. You got Calamus and Alula, they're fun, even though you don't really see them much. Calamus tries to take care of his sister, meanwhile his sister is a little goofy. There's the Lamplighter, who's never known a good night's sleep in fucking years. Ling is the worker at the cafe, they know how to make pancakes, so he's pretty cool. Kip is the head scientist and also responsible for making silver. Her appearance is brief, but it's still really cool. George is neat, she has several possible personalities depending on which one the game wants to give you, so that's very cool. It was announced that OneShot was getting a console port, which it did because on September 22nd, 2022, the OneShot World Machine Edition was released. Even though by this point I was a big fan of OneShot, I didn't buy it for a couple months. But wait a sec, I hear you saying, how does OneShot work on console when most of the puzzles require you to use your computer? Good question, asshole, I'm getting to it. It's really simple, honestly. Virtual computers. The way this works is the right stick is how you move your mouse, and the right trigger is to click the mouse. But what else does it offer? Good question. It's got custom colors for your computer, original artwork for wallpapers, character bios, and a music box.
Dance, you fuck! Dance for them! Yes! Yes!
Oh hey, whoops, it's editing BC. I forgot to explain something. The way you get these colors and themes and character bios is they just kind of show up in the overworld. The colors just appear when they want to. I only managed to get 8 on my first run. It's the same with wallpapers as well, they just kind of appear. Character bios do have a set spawn. For example, you get silvers by just talking to her a bunch of times, and then when you leave the Barrens, you get hers. But then there's optional characters, like a lot of people in the refuge, you just have to keep talking to them. Yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Back to hell. On March 28th, 2017, OneShot got an update which added Solstice, which is another ending for the game. You can start Solstice after you beat the game. To start it, you need to go to the mines in the Barrens and stand on the clover with the notebook. This will spawn a minecart to take us to the server rooms where we meet Proto. He tells us that everyone in this world is fake as fuck, which understandably makes Nico upset, which in turn speeds up the process at which his computer starts deteriorating. The mines have a cave in and Proto gives us a disc. We then ride a minecart to the glen and meet Calamos and Alula, who are now homeless. We go to this random cave, spawn a boat, which takes us to a graveyard. We didn't meet Cedric there. He has a plane, unfortunately it's fucking broken. So we have to get a battery and some gears. We find the gears in the music box that Magpie has, and then we get a battery from this generator, which makes all of the robots stop working. Cedric fixes the plane and we fly to the refuge, then Cedric fucking jumps off a building after the plane gets cubed. We meet Lamplighter and Ling again, who are chilling. Lamplighter helps us open an elevator door before that gets cubed. Cedric bolts by and we see Kip, who takes us to the library. Then the factory fucking crumbles lmao. We try to leave, but Kip won't let us. So Nico says a lot of things. We find Rube, but Cedric and Proto are dead, so we have quite the talk. I'm fucking lying, they're back. I move these 3 into folders and open a door into the creator's workshop, which has a big computer. Going inside, we come face to face with Nico! This is the World Machine, which is currently taking the form of Nico. Nico and the World Machine have a talk about how the World Machine was only doing a light bit of trolling and didn't really mean to do anything. Nico tames the machine and we say goodbye to everyone before putting the sun back and getting rid of all of the cubes. And then Nico walks away again. Goodbye again. And that's Solstice. Despite my really shitposty recap of it, I really do enjoy this part. It's the happy ending everyone wanted. Fortunately, after this you can't play the game again normally. But hey, Switch allows me to delete game data so I can keep replaying it over and over. Maybe I am a mean god after all. As I said in the original review, a lot of the music in the game is very calm, which fits the distinct lack of sun to the world. Damn, this bitch is dark. But I didn't mention any of the tracks that are more upbeat, so here's a bunch of tracks from the game I really enjoy. Even after a year, I still really love OneShot. Everything about the game makes me really goddamn happy. When I started replaying it, I was only going to play it for about 30 minutes, but then I ended up spending 6 hours on the game and fully beat it. With that being said, buy OneShot. Buy it on Steam or Switch or whatever fucking version you feel like buying. Probably going to make it a yearly thing to play OneShot because I fucking love the game. That's all for now. See ya.
The time